My name is Rich Haluschak, and I live in Pasadena, California, also in Palm Springs. I was born in Pennsylvania, but when I was 2 years old, we moved to Pomona, California. My father came out here for a job, and I've lived in this area ever since. So I grew up in Pomona in a very blue collar neighborhood. I've been attracted to men and back then to boys since I was really, really young. My parents were politically very, very liberal. And although they didn't speak specifically about LGBTQ issues, they had a broad range of acquaintances and friends. There were definitely adult gay men and women around in the town where I grew up. And my parents refer to them that way, and even had one neighbor who I realize now was a gay man who lived in our neighborhood, lived in a house by himself. I had lots of opportunities to sort of experiment with other boys my age when I was growing up in my neighborhood. Nothing that was ever bad or traumatic that ever happened to me in that regard, or sexually, nothing ever with an adult. I didn't have a sense that there was something wrong with it, or that society thought there was something wrong with it, until I was in high school. A lot of boys that I experimented with as boys just became either were heterosexual or were heterosexual acting. And the boys who I met in high school, because of course high school, there were a lot of kids that came together in a high school from who had gone to other elementary and junior high schools, and I didn't know them before. The boys in high school who were very effeminate, I didn't have any attraction to them, even to be friends with them. We didn't really like the same sort of things. But I had good experiences. I didn't have bad or scary experiences. So I never had a sense that there was necessarily something bad about it. But I did try to pass in high school. I had girlfriends, and I started to come out when I got to college. I found out that there was something that they called the Gay Student Union, a club. And I attended a meeting and then just started to come out in that way. College was more difficult for me. For certain people, I was still very in the closet, and for certain other people, I was out. And I was really concerned about being able to get a job when I got out of college, and that the companies wouldn't think that I was gay. But when I look back at it now, everybody must have known. I don't think that it was a secret to anybody. I wrote a letter to my mother, even though I talked to her really frequently. I was in my early 20s. And my mother then showed the letter to my brother and sister. And it was actually my brother who called me to tell me that it was okay, that nobody cared. And then when I did have a talk with my mother about that letter, it was sometime later. I was driving the car and we were together in the car. And she said, "I just want you to know I always knew that you were gay." And then I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" And she said, "I didn't want to embarrass you." And that was it. In my family, it's been 100% fine ever since. My partners were accepted as part of my family, and my current boyfriend is accepted, and my family likes him. So I was really, really lucky in that way. And even in my extended family, I have cousins who are gay, and I'm not aware of anybody who's been ostracized by the family. After a few years, I got a job at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And a lot of people in leadership roles were openly gay. And I was able to just be gay at work. And I've been completely out in the community in Pasadena and organizations that I'm involved with. So I've been in 2 long-term relationships, one for 13 years, then another one for 9 years, where we actually were married in 2008, right before the Prop 8 vote in the fall of 2008. Both of those relationships ended because of alcoholism and drug addiction of the other person. And then I was single for a long time in my 50s. I mean, I dated a little bit here and there, but I was single for a long time, and I was not really super sexually active, which I was okay with. I was just older, and I didn't have as much sexual energy as I'd had before. And then when I was 59, I'm 61 now, I met someone who was close to my age, had a similar experiences with relationships. And we met and fell in love, and we're together now. The biggest piece of advice I could give that I wish I had for myself was, don't try to convince yourself that something's wrong. When you have that aha moment that something is wrong in the relationship or something is wrong with the other person's behavior, you are right. Don't second guess yourself. Believe yourself. And don't be afraid to leave a relationship. Don't be afraid to not enter a relationship. Be authentic to yourself. Take care of yourself. That's not selfish. In the end, if you develop a greater sense of comfort with yourself and you do get into a relationship, you'll be a better partner in that relationship than you would be otherwise. The relationship I am in now, of course, we're both older. We have a lot of life experience. I don't have a need for the other person to change for me. I don't have a need to change any part of myself for the other person. The relationship comes together where we have things in common, and where we don't, it's okay. The relationship is still there, but we don't have to do everything together all of the time. Have an open mind, aside from alcohol and substance abuse. Have an open mind about sexual issues. Many people are only happy and only comfortable in a monogamous relationship, and that's good. Some people are only happy and only comfortable in an open relationship, and that's good. There are a lot of shades of gray in between those two things. So have an open mind, because something that you think might not be workable for you in a relationship, if you're open about it, it can become workable.